Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real-life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, this is your creation. Now learn how to make it sing. In the Know with Steph and Joe airs Fridays at 3 p.m. right here on 216 The Net. Like, follow Steph's books and Restoration One of Cary, along with 216 The Net on Facebook, and subscribe to the 216 The Net YouTube channel. In there. There you go. There you are.
There we are.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
Oh my God.
in.
It is like one of those Fridays where it is just nothing but giggles and an HR nightmare in this green room today.
Freaky Friday.
So true. I had a long ass morning. We came in. We literally talked zero about the show up until
30 seconds ago.
Well, it was 2 minutes. It was because I looked down and it was 2:58.
Hey, she's in early.
Hey, Mom.
Hey.
Hi, Mom.
But yeah, so before we dive into the show, though, I just want to let everybody know that I got infomercialed. And so I'm sure everybody saw my post the other day on Facebook that we bought a building.
Oh.
So we're going to be moving just up the road. Yeah, so I decided that the TikToks at 2 o'clock in the morning, not the best for an entrepreneur, because they're like, all of a sudden I went down this weird rabbit hole and then they're like, are you between this age? Yeah, I am. Oh, have you diversified your assets? What about your revenue streams as an entrepreneur? And da 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 da. And I'm like, shit, I need to do that. I'm behind the 8 ball. And then all of a sudden in my next little blooper of email, I get a building. And I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. And then now we have a building.
Suckered in.
Really?
Yeah, got infomercials.
Hang on. The only thing I got out of that is that you're getting TikToks about buying buildings and diversifying assets.
Right.
And if you're getting TikTok, what kind of I thought all TikToks were like young kids doing stupid things.
No, I follow a lot of
no.
accountants on
Oh,
TikTok.
no. Yeah.
All right. I guess I'm the old man now, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Rich
All
wants me to
right.
create a Steph's Books TikTok page, but I'm like,
Yeah, that would get
Wow.
really bad.
I'm
really
not like a
quick.
TikTok. I don't know. I don't think I can
If
do
we
it.
were
But anyways.
only recorded the beginning of this, the green room before the show, we
Yeah, that would have
really-
been gold.
We really could create a load of TikToks out of that.
But yeah, so just letting all you guys know,
Congrats.
put the phones down. 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't be watching TikToks on diversifying assets and
Next
revenue
thing you know, you're
streams.
going to own a building, and then next thing you know, when you go and buy that actual building and you acquire it, you go over to show a contractor, and all the lights and power are gone.
Yeah, I forgot to call ComEd. So
So moral of the story is call ComEd and have your utilities switched to your name.
that's the tip.
More
Tip of the day.
Steph's tip.
Just the tip of the
But
day.
so anywho,
What's our
All
actual
right.
conversation
So-
today
Yeah,
supposed
but
to
we're
be
working
about?
from the top down today, we said.
We're
Yeah.
working from the top down. That's right.
So we're going to talk about people talking pay in the workplace. So we know obviously that it's 100% legal. There's no repercussions from that. So we know that it's allowed and you're able to do it. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily always the happiest about said topic. So from working from the top down, Joe and I were talking that the 3 kind of categories would be owner, then management, and then, coworker, and kind of like the good, the bad, the indifferent, and what kind of comes of people discussing pay.
Yes, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be personal and confidential,
Mhm.
but if you have employees, everybody knows everybody's business.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never once in any company that I've ever worked for, all the way back when I was 14, told anybody what I made. Like, it was always drilled
use-
into me that you don't say
Really?
that. Yeah.
I'll use general terms.
What? Oh, I've never discussed
No,
pay. I've never discussed
Nope.
like what sometimes I'll share like the revenue or the size of the business, but that doesn't mean that that's all in my pocket.
Oh, 100% understand.
I mean,
that.
like
As a
some
business
people
owner, I
don't understand
that.
it, but
yeah.
you know,
some people just don't understand it. Okay, so now my question to you is: if somebody was like, "Hey, you make six figures?"
what? Oh, if somebody asks me,
Yeah, I make six figures. You make six figures.
I just say I'm comfortable.
What?
I just say I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
That's all I say.
I always say, in what timeline?
But it's also like,
yes, over the past 10 years, I have made six figures.
Right.
but it's like also people kind of see some of the stuff, like, I don't know, like the trips or things that I plan, but people don't understand how frugal I am and how crafty I am with getting like deals and things. And, you know, I'm not cheap. Right. I'm frugal. It's very different. They're not synonyms.
But I know I got a friend, and he does a lot of credit card. I mean, he plays his credit cards and gets all these miles. He gets comped everywhere. He gets tickets cheap, almost free, because, I mean, does he make a ton?
Oh,
Doesn't make a ton.
I thought you were saying he plays the credit cards like he literally is like trying to just figure out which credit card has a little bit more limit on it that he can play.
No.
He's literally
it's a real
using
art. I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
You're using it to build the points to get that. You pay it off. You do everything right as far as bills.
Yes.
Correct.
So he traveled. He and his family travel all the time, and people are always like, "Hey, it must be nice, whatever." But he's like, "Yeah." You know, because he's getting flights and hotel rooms comped and free.
I know quite a few people like that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
so to your point, I don't. If somebody travels a lot, I don't go, "Oh, they must have a lot of money."
Well, that's perspective to your perspective of that person, right?
Right, but also to kind of what you were describing too. You could also be
Drew says
credit card rich, also, where you're just using the credit cards and people see all these nice things, but you really don't have the means to satisfy them.
That was my point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
exactly. But Drew says, "I do well, thanks." That's what he says.
That's what he says.
And then he jumps into his vault of money like Scrooge McDuck.
Ooh, my favorite way to dive into money is just like him.
But yeah, so
everybody says that to me too. They're like, "Oh, Joe, you do great." I'm like, you know, I have my expenses. I know how to work things in correctly.
Right.
I have the way that I can work it in, but I'm not looking to be out. You know, we don't make.
I don't. When it comes to pay, right? Yeah,
such a weird.
If somebody asks me, I don't ever really get into it, because you might make more. We might have the exact same job, Steph, and you make more, right? But I agreed to, or I'm happy with what I make.
Right. But I've also taken lesser
based
salaries.
On the company as a whole.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But I've traded
absolutely.
From an employee standpoint.
But I've traded when I've negotiated, like when I worked for people, I might have taken a lesser salary, but in exchange, I will get more flexibility than other employees as it pertains to me being allowed to have my cell phone on my desk, or me being able to be accessible and available to my kids, and being able to go to their school plays or do reading mom for an hour in the school. Like, I will negotiate. My time is more value to me than what you're going to pay me per hour.
We're kind of starting from the bottom and going.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess that's what we're going to
reverse it and go from the bottom up.
Yeah.
But I just feel like
than from the back to the front.
Like
go from the back to the front.
That's right.
I feel like with coworkers, like chit chatting with each other about it, I feel like it creates I feel like somebody always leaves mad, but then I feel like it's not my fault that you left money on the table and you don't know your worth.
Right.
That is such a great point. I love that point.
Like, that's not my fault.
All right. When I worked for the man, the man, I was related to the really high man, but the man that I actually paid and picked my pay was not related. Definitely didn't like me. But I worked really hard. So I guess I always came in knowing that I was there. I was there at 4 a.m. and I left at 7 p.m. I worked harder than everybody else that was in my position, right? You say in that position. I guess I had never had a problem telling people how much I made in my position.
But a lot of your stuff, though, in that former career, wasn't a lot of that commission based?
Yeah.
So that's different. Like a
Yeah, they
commission
could
based
see my
job.
revenue.
Yeah, like
They
a
could see my
commission based
revenue and totally.
job is vastly different than a salaried position because you're gonna
Oh,
get
fair. Okay.
because like if you're a salesperson,
I've never had a straight salary.
Yeah,
I've
so
always been commissioned.
Yeah, there's always been pieces of commission in it, right?
yeah.
100% of the time.
So yeah, so that's like a whole different animal when you're comparing like commission based employees versus salary based employees versus hourly based employees.
Then I have
like
no perspective on what you guys are talking about.
Well, yeah. So
I really don't. I really don't.
I've been in positions, right, and people always want to talk about that thing. So when I ran banks, when I was a branch manager at a bank, salaried out plus bonus, right?
Mhm.
Got it.
And I didn't care if you ran a bank and you were salaried out more because I negotiated something that was comfortable or right for me and my family.
Mhm.
Right. And if my branch was bigger than yours, I could get a bigger bonus than what you could. Right.
Mhm.
So to me, I know branch managers who made more on a salary basis than me, and that's fine. They to your point, they negotiated something that worked for them. I negotiated something that worked for me. Is there that brief moment where you go, frick?
Right.
Well, that's like, how much risk do you want to take on?
Yeah.
Right? I want less risk, so I'm going to go with a bigger salary.
Right.
And count on that bonus maybe just trickling in. Or am I going to take higher risk, go for the lower salary and get that bigger bonus in the long run?
Right.
It really is kind of how risk adverse are you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's anybody out there that would feel comfortable commenting when
on exactly how much you make.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
And your position
and your company.
Right. If you guys talked to a coworker about your pay or their pay, and then somebody felt a little slighted about it, then what happens next? Like, do you then turn around and go and strong arm your boss into giving you more money to match that? Would you be willing to walk away if somebody, because I feel like everybody gets hired at different times. Like if you look like what I made in the early 2000s at my starting pay working at Burger King is vastly different than what they're bringing somebody in now at.
Starting pay at Burger King?
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
But if I would have stayed with them and kept working my way up and getting my 3 to 5% cost of living raise and all that,
you'd still be well under.
I would be in a position where I would be pretty close in salary to new hires. Really? But I've been with the company because I was making minimum wage in 2000. So whatever that dollar amount, that's what that is. I think it was like $6.84 or something. So, I
believe our minimum wage is $6.84.
So I'm just saying, like, if I would have done that and then kept staying with the company and whatever and getting my raises, I have that seniority with them, but the economy has changed. The minimum amount you have to pay to get somebody in to apply to even work there has changed. Like all of these things factor in to the decisions that management and ownership make on the next round of hirings. And like, you can't always be in a position, depending on the size of your company, to then bring everybody along in that same increase.
Totally.
Like you would potentially, you're going to drown.
Okay. So as an employee, you talk to let's revert back a little bit. You talk to your friends, coworkers. Because I had one time when I said I made commission and insurance. Kent, you said this. You said you made salary plus a draw or a bonus.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Salary plus a bonus.
Yep.
That technically is what my pay was.
Yeah.
In insurance, because I worked underneath one producer and on a team, and my producer is the one who got the commission, quote unquote, and then he divvied up bonuses to us. So I got paid salary plus a bonus. However, I don't know. I was in every day before everybody else. So when somebody came up to me and was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna make, 90 grand this year," and I they're trying to dick flop to me.
Yeah.
And I just hate that. So I'm like, great, I'm making 6 digits. Go fuck yourself. You know,
Yeah, but it's not like they're gonna see your W-2, so you could say realistically whatever you want to say. Nobody's gonna know what's fact or fiction.
But I can tell you, she understands that I would not lie to her.
Yeah,
I say it straight up, right? I would not lie to her, and I did not at that time.
right.
She got so fucking pissed, and that was the point. I wanted to make her mad because she just came. So I guess I don't know. I get heated when people come up and start that conversation with that aggressiveness. But if it's more of like a, hey, what do you make? Because I want to make sure, like, what are we doing? Are we all on the same page? If we're not on the same page, is that worth something talking about? Do you have more experience than I do?
Right.
Right? Are you doing it better than I am?
Right.
What's your success rate? Right? Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I feel like there's different questions that can be asked. I feel like everybody has some type of idea. But I'm just saying that when employees talk to each other about the pay, which I mean, just personally, I think it's weird. But when they do it, I feel like it creates a little bit of toxicity within the team environment of the company, because then everybody knows that then. We've had, so agree. Linda says, or my mom says,
my mama said,
we've had new hires that say you make more, so you do it. Granted, I've been with the company 35 years and you just started yesterday.
Yay, men, mom. I would totally agree with that, because all right, when somebody comes to me and wants to talk price or talk their pay versus my pay, however it is, I'll be happy to do that. I don't mind doing that, but there's so many variables that go into it.
Yeah.
And I have that mindset. Most people don't. Yeah. I don't know if most people, I should say most people, but a lot of people, when you're going to start talking pay, it's because they're just trying to sword fight.
Right. But like, I mean, like some of my friends' kids are of working age now, you know?
Right.
And so like, I'm like, oh, how are you liking your new job? And then like, they immediately say, oh, it's good. And I get paid X amount of dollars per hour. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I didn't ask that. Okay, wait. Question for that then is it because the newer, the age of data is so present with the internet that you can literally go online, search, I want to be a high school janitor or custodial worker. And so I can look up the average and high and range of pays for that a high school custodial worker.
Well, yeah, you could do it down to like as granular as the city that you're operating in.
Now I see exactly what other people are making because it's based off real data. Go ahead, Ken. I'm just
so I think that employees, and I've been one for a long time in my life, we'll talk.
As I smoke my
right. We'll talk about what's important, what they feel is important to them, and what gives them value. Right. So if what gives me value is to say, listen, I actually created the battery floor that the Tesla sits on.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go, oh, really? How much an hour?
Right.
Right. But when the only value that I feel that perhaps I give is, well, I make $15 an hour, you know, and that so with the young kids, that's important for them because it gives them value. Right. So I think a lot of the employees will talk about what, hey, this is my value. Not that I'm mixing chemicals to create, you know, turpentine or whatever. I don't know. Right.
Mustard gas.
I don't want to say that allegedly because we don't want to get botted out of here.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Can that happen?
I don't know. I just,
my bad.
We don't
out
know.
There, bots.
Right? So, right. So I think when they're talking about and they're sharing is, oh, Steph, I make $18 an hour. And you're like, I make 28. I'm like, wait, what? You're saying, hey, my value is more than yours here.
Yeah. I mean, I've had
and I go, I work 3 times as hard as that little squirrel. Right. And she just gets her nails done, points them, puts glitter on them.
Underneath glitter, that's the worst part.
I'm busting my ass. How is she making $28? I do a lot more. To Linda's point, they're like, she makes a lot. What? You do it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's that value. So I think when employees are talking about the pay, they're talking because commission guys never really do. You just all of a sudden pull up in your new truck.
Right.
Well, he had a couple good months, right? Because I think it's hourly that talk, not necessarily commission.
Salary. If you're straight commission, correct.
Yeah.
Hourly, salary plus bonus. You're pulling back into a gray area when you add bonus into it because I never really talked about what exactly my bonus was.
Right.
But I had no problem.
I've made more bonus in my bonuses than I have in my salary several years.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it got crazy enough to the point where I used to work for other companies and doing payroll where my coworkers would come up by my office and be like, hey, so what's so-and-so make? Like they would just point blank ask me and I'd be like, I can't tell you. They're like, well, don't you have access? Are you doing payroll? Yeah, but like what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, I worked for a bank that will remain
bank
that will remain nameless. It's blue, but
bank.
But they, they're like, hey, this bonus this year, we're going to give you stock because you exceeded this amount of money that we can, and I'm like, oh, all right, whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still have that stock?
I do.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm no longer there, but
is it worth more money?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah. Little. Yeah. It's little.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's cool, right? But that's what I mean is I never go up and say, well, look at my bonus check, Joe. Right.
Now,
I mean, like
you don't
Eli
have to do that. Like if people are watching your numbers, if you're following bonuses, right? You're getting paid off of production.
Yep.
Bonuses or commission, you're paid off production.
That's right.
If somebody sees you're producing, they know you're making money.
That's right.
And then it really does not matter exactly the dollar.
Correct.
Right? It really doesn't.
Correct.
If you're producing, you're making money.
Right.
Like Eli will tell you, like if you ask him, he'll tell you how much money he has in his savings account.
To the dollar?
Yeah, he'll tell you.
To the dime?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm asking.
He'll tell you. But then he asked me, and I was like, I'm not telling you. I'm like, that's private. And then he's like,
but I just told you.
Yeah. And I'm like,
isn't this a you show me yours, I'll show you mine?
I'm like,
again, it goes back to that value.
I'm like, you don't tell people that.
Right.
And I know that you're lippy, so you're gonna go tell other people.
Well, we call Carrie Operation Leaky Bucket.
I don't want to.
Come on, that's a great one. Operation Leaky Bucket. You can't say anything, and she'll be like, just talking to somebody, be like, "Blah," and just say it. We're like, we tried to keep that like quiet. No,
terrific.
But yeah, so I don't know. Okay, so we figured out that obviously employees are gonna potentially talk no matter what.
Yeah.
The commission people, it's kind of a gray area because if you're producing, you're producing. There's nothing you could do about it. It is what it is.
Commission people brag about a sale, right? Hey, I brought in the Johnson
account. Yeah, look at me go.
Or it's just, like, or you get the new truck or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And so, okay, so
hang on, that we got to play back on a little bit because that's like credit cards.
Sure, it is.
Literally, I'm going and buying that new truck because I just had a big sale, but am I going to have 4 more big sales to finish paying that truck off, or did I pay for that because it was that big of a sale? Did I pay for that truck in cash?
So let's use the last few years. In 2019, 2020, there were a lot of people in the real estate world who were buying offices and renting and putting staffs together because they were so
and
when they showed up, they're like, oh yeah, I got a team now over here at 123 Main Street, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
And now they're like, I let everybody go. I'm stuck at this 3-year lease.
3-year lease. Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even really think. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're right. So to your point is, great. You got it today. Can you afford it tomorrow?
Right.
A lot of people got, loved the quick hit, but they're like, whoops, didn't look down. Should have dialed that in.
Maybe I should have dialed in this COVID glass.
That's
these
right.
COVID goggles here.
Well, I looked at a franchise just recently that's for sale. Kind of, it's a decent price.
Okay.
And I said, okay, so I signed the NDA, and I said, yeah, just send me the numbers. Well, they send me the numbers, and of course, most of their profit came from PPP. It was like. Since then, we haven't really done much.
What's the industry?
It was food. Yeah.
Food.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
It was
That's
food.
toughy.
Food is always a rough one.
Yeah. They
not for that price. The price was right though, and it was well established for about 19 years. So it's just it was a absentee owner and wanted to leave.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. If you do work down that route or whatever, and let's say you were to go by that, you got employees, they're all talking. Let's say you're the manager now, because we're gonna
go up a tick.
We're gonna go,
A tick.
A tick.
Tick.
Go up a tick.
You did not say tick.
We
You did not say tick.
We started at the bottom, and now we're.
I know, but she didn't say tick.
Now we're
She
mid-chat.
didn't say go up a tick.
Now we're mid-chat.
So yeah, there you go.
If you're the manager and you're going to hire people, how do you figure out what to offer?
Well,
when you're hiring, yeah.
Well, if you have to minimum wage, right? Whatever the state minimum wage is where your bottom starts.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's abide by the laws.
Yeah.
Let's abide by the laws. We're not promoting any law breaking rules. So minimum wage is the floor. $100,000 an hour is the ceiling.
So because I
the
don't have employees, this is what I would say. This is just Kent saying this because I don't have them. You all have.
Have you had employees in the past?
Yeah, like the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I would look at it as if I'm hiring teens, then hey, you know what? $15 if that's minimum wage. I have no idea what minimum wage is. I'm just saying $15. There you go. Minimum wage when I was a kid was $3.75 an hour. So
you're wow.
Old. It's okay to say old.
Sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to. I just did.
So
I'm officially in that realm.
Hey, but gas was 75 cents a gallon. So
right.
When I got my driver's license, it was 95 cents. So yeah, but that was 20 years difference between you and me.
Of course. Pretty close.
No, it's not.
Closer than you think. Oh yeah, I'm old.
Oh shit. All right, fair enough.
So anyway, right? I would say, okay, if I'm hiring part-time, it's a kid, it's going to be this. If it's part-time and it's a mom, I might give it a little because there's different needs in that person's life.
Mm-hmm.
Same job, but I might, honest to God, I know equal opportunity. I could get arrested, whatever, but I don't have employees. That's the way I Kent would look at
you
it.
You used to look at it.
Yeah, but not,
right?
really,
to
because
save you from getting
there's things published. Like if you go on McHenry County's websites and stuff, it's published where there's in order to live in McHenry County as a single person with no dependents, there's a minimum like wage range, and then there's a single person with a dependent, then there's like a married couple with a dependent and whatever. They have all those different brackets. So
but that's really how much you need to make. That's not how much you're gonna make.
Well, I'm just saying those would be the minimums to live in this county.
Right. But that's me. If I were hiring people, I would say
that's the way you think.
You live with your mom and dad, you're 17 years old, you're a junior in high school or a senior in high school. You're probably going to quit on me anyway. Here's $15 an hour. Steph, you're a single mom, you're 23 years old, whatever. You're living on your own, you got some expenses, you're probably going to quit on me anyway, but here's $20. Right. I mean, that's the way I would look at it. Because there's a sense of maturity that I'm going to pay for. There's a sense of perhaps life experience that I would pay for.
Maturity, I believe they call that experience in the hiring world, right? Yeah. I don't care if it's experience in my industry. Is it just experience in life?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yes,
right. I can pay you more for experience in life.
Yes,
right.
Yes, I love that because we do this. We do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Right? Yeah, but let's say in 2021, your company was I don't know, 300,000.
Yes.
Okay, you're doing $300,000 a year in revenue. You have 2 employees,
Sell.
and they're whatever paid at that pay scale.
Right.
Then now a couple years later, you're hiring again.
Yeah.
Your business has now grown to 600,000.
Mhm.
You have more available cash
Mhm.
to pay for somebody, and the economy has shifted, so you have to pay more in order to get somebody even in your door to
Mhm.
even interview.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have, so you have that, and then what do you do with those people that you hired in 2021? Then are you supposed to bring, so like if you're hiring this new person at $2 more an hour base than what you hired those other people at, are you supposed to bump them $2 an hour and effective immediately if this new person hires?
Okay.
Like, I feel like that's just like
I have a comment to that.
Like, I feel like you have to hire for the size of your business and what the market is calling for at the time of hiring.
Yeah, but at the same,
I mean, you want to take care of your people, and you want to keep
Right.
your core people happy, and you want to make sure that they're,
well, right. I've given
they
them,
don't leave.
I'm sure I've given them raises and
Right.
and bonuses and or tickets to the opera and or applesauce. I don't know, right? I'm just saying. I
Right.
probably I would treat them well throughout the 2 years that they've been with me as we grew, right? And they would move and grow with if they decided to stay, right?
Right.
But yes, with people coming in, I've seen that as well. Right. I worked at Amcor Bank. It's no longer around. And Dorothy was there since the mid 80s. Right. And this is 2004. And she's worked her way up 3% at a time.
Right.
But the people that we brought in to new kids to be tellers, were paid $2 more
than her.
Right.
Because that was the going rate. Now she catches wind of that. She gets upset. And, HR
She
comes
left.
HR, she died in there. But anyway, she's old. Yeah.
Wait a minute. She really died?
Not in the bank.
Oh, God.
Right?
I was going to say.
Right? She didn't
not say that because I actually.
Right. So
holy shit.
So they would be upset. But, HR would come in and go, well, we understand when you started back in the 80s, but look at where you are from where you were in the 80s. I mean, they come in and make up the excuses or whatever, right? I mean, but that happens. It does happen in real life, right?
I feel like people, like, nowadays, I don't feel like they're as, even if you broke that down for them.
Yeah.
Where like, you started in the 80s at $10 an hour, and now you're at
80s, they'd be at like
$3
an hour.
That's right.
And then now you're at whatever, $17 an hour. After
Look
all
at
these
this
cost of
growth.
living, and that's really good growth and whatever and whatever. But I think that some people, while they will appreciate that and you taking care of them, I think all of that rationalization falls out of their brain when they hear somebody is at 19.
Right. It does.
And been
And
with the
it
company
does.
for like a year.
Yeah.
So like, I understand the whole thing that it's, not illegal for them to talk about it, but I feel like it creates unnecessary tension in a company, amongst like coworkers and things. And so with all of that being said and all the stuff that we know, how as owners would we combat that? I mean, outside of the whole breaking down the facts of well, you've done this, we've done this for you, we're kind of in theory on the same fair playing level of reciprocation and blah blah blah. So if that option doesn't work, then what's the next step?
Sorry, that was a great word. I am,
because we had to do something at our company, so I'm just curious.
So for I want to hear what Ken has to say, I guess, first, because I think I have what we do. I feel is the right is a good way. I don't know if it's the right way. I'm sure there's multiple right ways.
So you've been working for me for a couple of years. I just hire somebody at $2 more an hour than you, and you come to me and go, "What the fuck?" Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
How do I handle that?
Well, how do you handle that, and how do you like put things in place to prevent getting backed in a corner as an owner of a business, especially a small business that doesn't have the same cash flows as a corporation?
I would go to my attorney.
You're a small business that can afford an attorney. On
you
standby.
Can't give your employee a $2 raise.
You know what?
You can afford an attorney.
So when did I hire you?
So if you hired
so
me
many
in,
variables.
Yeah, well, it is to
I guess
me, right?
in,
So
I don't
many
know.
variables.
I guess we'll stick with 2021. You hired me.
Right. And so so I'm just hiring somebody this week, $2 more an hour. Did I hire you in June? Did I hire you now? Because I would take a look at my balance sheet and cash flow and probably go, listen, your annual reviews coming up in.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And if we can hit these benchmarks by then or whatever, we can visit this. Right. But again, I would, I got to take a look at everything. Well, you've had food poisoning 8 times in the last year, which you missed work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was the Smith file that you forgot to carry a 1 on, whatever the case may be. Right.
So many variables.
I would definitely not shy away from it and have a conversation, but I would say, hey, since you've been with us, your raise, your 3% cost of living raise or whatever we've been doing has happened here.
Right.
So it'll continue to happen here. I wouldn't go, yeah, I'm just going to give you $2 more. And then when the raise time came, I would adjust accordingly. If it's definitely worth it, right?
Yeah.
And or talk to my accountant and say, what is a way that we can do this? Because I've seen some people go, here's the deal. I can't, my books won't allow for you to be $18 an hour as they are, but that's the going rate now. So I'm going to give you a bonus of $10,000 right now for you to cover the difference or whatever. I would have to juggle it and see how to do it. But if I didn't want to lose you, I would have to address you, communicate with you, and say, hey, in June when your annual comes up, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Annual.
Yeah, your annual.
Okay.
Yeah,
The review.
Sure that's what you said.
yeah. There's a you in there.
Okay. When you mentioned something about like reviews, and when those things come up, is there a set plan before you hire that person?
What do you mean as far as reviews
To make more
and whatnot?
money? Hey, this is what I'm hiring you at. This is where I want you to be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And if you if you hit these check marks, you'll make X amount more money.
No, I don't think. I think they get accustomed to it. Oh, okay, my annual review comes up, and with that annual review comes a raise, or not, right? So it's been a couple of years, so we've established a pattern.
Got it.
Right. I don't think it has to be written. But what happens when those companies go, no raises this year? I know a particular place of employment which cut commission,
all of them,
and no raises this year. What's that do to your team?
How big of a walkout was that?
We had a mutiny in 2018.
Yeah.
Like half the service department walked out. Oh, we talked about it before, and it was a big hit to my ego because nothing happened. Nothing changed. The company's still working. They're still open.
Right.
It didn't affect them at all.
Right.
They had people back in there replacing us in a matter of 5 seconds.
Oh, listen, in the
Doesn't
bank.
that suck?
Yeah, it was a big hit to my ego.
In the banking
giant blow.
In the banking industry, it happens every 3 or 4 years. Hey,
same with insurance.
Hey, listen,
big insurance. Yeah.
Hey, listen, we might be closing some branches. We're going to be letting certain layers go, and these could be friends of yours that have worked for the company for 20 years, but we got to do a little bit of downsize, a little bit of restructuring.
Right.
It's just going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
When I got let go of it from Amcor, right, I was they laid 1,100 people off that day. 1,100. And thank God I went, because I got a 6-month severance for full pay.
You waited and got that?
No, that's what they offered.
That's what they gave me.
The layoff.
They're like, hey,
yeah. You're leaving. That's what I'm saying. Is you weren't like, I would probably see it coming, or everybody saw it coming, but that's where you're like, oh, let me go get another job.
Well, my naivety was I thought, because I was a big producer, my naivety was I'm safe.
See, it was a hit to your ego.
Yeah, but they failed.
But at our company, like there's only there's so much money you're gonna get paid for bookkeeping and in general.
Yeah.
And so we created a pay structure chart for everybody that has like a couple dollars variance per sector. And I broke it up into 4 sectors, the expectation of what you have to do and where your skill set has to be to go to the next sector. But I ultimately feel like at first, when I found out that people were talking pay, I was enraged at first because I just personally, I don't like it. But then I feel like it made me take a step back and kind of be a better owner and put something in. They were clearly missing something, and I wasn't providing that to them in a way that they were able to then understand the justification of where everybody's at, what this is, where things are going. And now by putting this together and putting this sheet together, now when you get hired, you get your handbook and you get the pay structure sheet. And that's what you get. And you know where you are. You could do
How
it.
to get to the next step.
You know, you could do it as fast or as slow as you want. Or if you just want to stay in this sweet spot here, then just stay in this sweet spot here.
You know, you're talking about the lady that had been in
forever.
The bank teller since the mid 80s, right?
Yeah, Dorothy.
Right? If I were her, I would never have been a bank teller since the mid 80s.
She loved it. Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm saying is if she's coming to you and saying, hey, I don't see why this person's making $2 an hour more than me. Isn't there a certain point where you got to go, hey, listen, sweet Miss Betty.
Dorothy.
Dorothy, whatever.
Betty was my drive-through.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to hit so close to home. But Dorothy, hey, Miss Dorothy, you don't go above and beyond. You don't. You're literally just skirting that basic.
But having that consistency of a person that's going to show up, I feel there's value in that too.
I agree. However, how much can you pay for that on an entry level position?
Right. I mean, it's going to cap out.
She reminded me of
every job's going to have a cap.
Dorothy was kind of the Monsters Inc. Mike Wazowski. But I mean, she was crazy. And I bet she was she was a hoot to work with because she was like in her 70s and she didn't care if she got fired or whatever. So somebody'd come up and they wouldn't have their paperwork filled out. She goes, "Get away, just go and finish this. I don't have time. Next."
It was like a DMV line.
I love Dorothy already.
She was awesome. She was awesome.
But so then how do you guys combat there's other job ads posted for more money, so clearly I could get more money elsewhere? Like, how do you combat
get more money
that when they don't have an actual written offer on the table to show you?
Go get more money. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just because it's posted at that rate doesn't mean you're going to get paid that rate.
Doesn't mean that you're
just like when a house is for sale at a certain rate doesn't mean it's going to get bought at that rate.
Yep. So, go have fun. Right.
And to be honest, I know that for my industry, our industry as it plays into the general labor market, right? Because we use labor. I know that our industry, as it plays into the general labor market, we are doing well and paying our humans good.
Sure.
So I know based on the general where we're at. So if somebody's like, Bob Jim Restoration over here, BJ Restoration over here says, hey, I'm going to give you, $30, $40 an hour and pay you $40 an hour. I'm going to say, great, go over there.
Yeah.
Because if that's what we're going to argue over, fine. I really don't want you. Because I also know that your price is going to sink them as a company.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. It sometimes.
Rumor has it you can make $22 an hour at Jersey Mike's. Which one are they hiring?
But it's just I don't know. Like sometimes, and I know I shouldn't take it personally, but I feel like it hurts my feelings when people come and talk to me about money, but then they don't take into consideration all the non-monetary value that is also associated with things like with, extra days off or doing other things, or I don't know, like extra training, or on extra paid days off for just because, or going out to office lunches. Like I feel like there's other things.
Well, you see that, but they don't because they're new.
They're employees and they've never been a business owner.
But I just feel like sometimes it's just like, like I'm not saying that working at my company, you're going to be treated the best that you'll ever be treated. But I feel like there's things that we do or offer that are, what's a long one?
Derek,
that's what holy cow, Derek.
Derek really flopped her out there.
But it's just like, I feel like there's like
that's
other
take up the whole screen when he clicks on it.
But I feel like there's like other things that I feel like people should take into consideration, because if you want the monetary increase, plus you still want all these other perks that are non-monetary.
I want to roll back to that in just a second. Let's circle back to
all
that.
All right, Derek just covered our entire faces on the screen with.
Yeah, I know. This is a record, I think.
Don't say that, Derek.
Derek always texting and talking. Can't you see how
it was at a red light?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's also about what are you producing or creating in terms of value. If you're going by the example of a bank teller, what type of referrals and relationships are they making? Otherwise, in bookkeeping, are they doing a job efficiently and error-free? Mm-hmm. I think many positions, as Steph said, can only make so much. So is there something else they can do? Or can they be more efficient? Can they create less headaches for the business in general? To get a raise over and above, they have to ... and he ran out of space, but
voice to text, my friends. He's working on the rest.
Right.
This is a novel he's writing.
Right.
I love this.
No, I understand that as well. But usually, if you're getting paid, you get paid for referrals, you get bonuses for referrals and things like that. So
in some form or fashion,
in some,
there should be some way that you get compensated for the quote unquote above and beyond work that is not necessary. Well, it should actually be tangible. If you're bringing referrals in, our employees, all right, our employees work an hourly rate, right? They get paid hourly, right, to do the work. However, if they go out and get a review, because that is so valuable to our company, but it shows nothing in their pay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We'd have to bonus them or spiff them or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, what we do is we just tally them all up, and we could give them some kind of a bonus, throw them $100 or whatever.
Well, yeah. Now you guys aren't necessarily the anomaly, but you guys both run outstanding. You treat your employees outstandingly.
Totally.
Both of you do. Right. And you do the little things. So that's what I want to circle back to. There's a company, rhymes with Moogle, and they wanted to say, hey, let's have bean bags and yogurt and cereal bars, little nap station.
Oh my God, the nap pods.
And they realized that they could pay people less money because of all these extra perks. Mm-hmm. Right. And they would say, oh, you're getting paid maybe $10 less an hour. But you know what? That company over there
doesn't have a nap pod.
That rhymes with sing, doesn't have a nap pod or whatever. Right. So there it's kind of smoke and mirrors too, depending. I mean, it really depends as an employee. What is it that you want? Right.
Our employees. To that point, our employees last night were hanging out in the parking lot after everybody was off the clock. They're all not working. They hung out for an extra hour or two, some of them. Hanging out, talking, trying to convince one of our employees, Mr. Bremner, to not go to Florida for his vacation and instead stay home or change his trip time so he can come to the Blackhawks hockey game that we throw every year. We take our employees to it. All of our employees are going, dude, this is the one event you have to be at. And he goes, all right, I think I'm changing my trip. Yeah. So we're pretty sure we convinced him. And that was literally, it's so small, yet it's so big to them.
Right.
In the sense of like, they're like, no, this is the trip that we look forward to because we're all hockey fans. We all have fun. We all get to be part of a group together, have a blast.
Listen, back in the insurance days, right? It was for the end of year sales trip or sales award ceremony where, hey, you're going down to the Bahamas on the company. We'll do some sales training. You'll have a lot of affairs. You'll get drunk. I mean, you'll get a lot of training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
you'll wear your swim trunks.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden somebody goes, well, that's a waste of the company's money because they didn't win the trip. And then all the trips went away. And now they wonder why. Now they wonder why they don't get paid so well. Right? Well, you complained about it back then. Anyway.
You think that's really it? Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Right.
If your employees finish a job quicker than you thought, that enables them to hopefully start on another job, right?
Correct.
So that is clearing the schedule for more work down the line. So that is making the company more profitable. Those would be employees you want to incentivize and keep around. I think that's what I was trying to say previously in my novel as I was texting while driving, voice to text. Allegedly. That's it.
I would agree. I mean, I'm not disagreeing in the sense of like people that come in.
Yeah.
When I worked in insurance, I would get in at 4 a.m. and I would leave at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
There's nobody getting more work in the office done than me. And I got paid the same salary.
Carrie gets a lot more done.
Not
a lot more.
All right, fair.
But
if we're bringing that into it,
yes. No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, well, that's what I agree to his point. Yeah. It's to me when it comes to like hourly, sometimes you want your hourly to be consistent, and make sure that they're all doing it to the same level, right?
Yeah, but
I would love to have one guy just pounding away and getting everything done twice as fast, but
you can't throw out the business with the incentive either.
Right. Well, like
Right. Yep.
Like I get Derek's point and I feel like it makes sense, but I also feel like I have to get past my blackout rage when I get backed into a corner when somebody asks me for more money, and then you gotta think about everything from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, they're doing this, but then you also have to take in consideration if they walked, how much is it going to cost you to retrain somebody to get them to that level? Is that $1 worth them walking? No, it's not. So you'll pay them the $1, but I feel like it leaves a sour taste in your mouth about that person, depending on their approach.
The best way to handle it, I think, is have a remote control for a little red light that's on their screen somewhere. And every so often, just click it like you're recording them. A lot of that stuff will stop.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah. I mean, you're really not recording them. They just think you're recording.
Just a little red light.
It's just a little red light. It's a great idea, actually.
Amazing. That's a great idea. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What? All right. Should we? Oh man, I learned so much today.
Yes.
Most of it before the show.
Isn't that the way it always goes?
We really ought to start recording.
All I'm going to say, Rich, I know you're listening, and thanks for listening to me. I like the nails. I don't.
Rich, I'm allergic to glitter. That's my strife with them. Is I'm allergic to glitter. So, Rich, that's the only reason.
Congratulations and good luck.
Yeah. Listen, I can just tell you those nails are feisty. All right. So, what did we learn today? For me, I learned so much before the show. I learned that
even though you want to go top down, you're going bottom up.
I'm going bottom up. Even though I really try to go top down, I wind up going bottom up. Yeah, go ahead.
That is bad.
I can think of something real.
Oh God. Okay. So I guess what I learned today is no matter how many properties I've bought in my lifetime, I still don't know how to do it correctly. And so I have no power in my new building. So yeah.
Can you believe they shut the power off?
Can you believe they turned the power up? Oh my god!
Obviously,
this is, like,
Linda, she didn't
completely-
learn that lesson.
Everything that we're talking about right now was not on the show, guys.
Here's what I learned, and I marvel at the two of you. Is I think that employees want to know that they're valued. And sometimes the only value that they have is that which they get paid per hour. But you guys do such a good job in letting them know their value that I don't think it happens. If it happens, it's not a real big deal in your companies because you allow them to know their value, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Yeah. Our employee. Yes. Yes. I love that. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I really enjoy the fact that my team is comfortable enough to have those hard-hitting conversations with me
Mhm.
to help me
you.
be a better owner.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're getting everything that they need
Yeah.
to feel the value or
Yeah.
be proud of their job in the company that they work for.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I learned that Derek is pretty good at driving and
I don't understand how he
must
has
have been
no.
one knee. He must have been
Freaking
one
I
knee in
hang
that
on.
thing.
How does his
One
voice
knee,
to
like,
text
no other.
have no like
He's got
no
questions.
misspellings and
And he's got
punctuation
question
and
marks
stuff
and
and everything?
Hang on, look, so you can see right here. You
Oh,
see
yeah.
that where?
Uh-huh.
That's
That's the knee drive.
That's
That's the steering
I
drive.
can't can't do that. I have to raise my seat in order to do that.
See over the
And then
steering
like
wheel.
See over the steering wheel. We're not talking about getting.
no, I'm saying to like drive with my knee. I can't in my car. It's too much of a gap. And if I raise my seat enough for my knee to touch the steering wheel,
Your
right?
feet don't touch
That-
the floor.
Yeah. So I can't do it in this car.
I love that. I love that.
Steph, is
Okay.
that car? You're like, is there somebody driving that? Is
If
it
I
driving?
lowered my seat all the way down to where like Joe would probably have to sit in the seat.
No, actually, my
Like-
seats are all the way up.
Oh, so like
I raise my seat all the way
oh,
up.
because like when Rich gets in my car, he'll hit his head like on like the
Oh,
door
geez.
frame thing. So like
No, I
'Cause of
duck
how
when
the
I get
seat-
in. I'm used to do it,
but yeah, like if I raised it down, like it's like those old ladies when they're driving like the old school
Right.
Cadillacs like that.
Right.
Like yeah. But anywho, so
That's
yeah, so
hilarious.
we're gonna be
The guys
leaving.
get in head first, though.
Actually,
ladies get in butt first.
I get in butt first and then I duck my head under, but my seat's always as tall as it goes and as far back as it goes.
Or is it women that go head first? Do you go head first?
I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to look when I get in the car now.
Hey,
Yeah.
definitely not a lady.
Hey.
Hey.
So yeah, so I guess we're really excited that we're gonna be leaving. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the QuickBooks
Yeah.
Connect conference. So
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
we will be at the conference.
Joe and
Make sure
I are excited for all the free swag that you're bringing back from QuickBooks.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
for a
last
quick-
year I
quick
brought
books
back this
t-shirt.
like rub from South Africa
Yeah.
and stuff, the spice rub, and
Yeah.
they had
Alright,
some
I-
good
okay.
things. and
Awesome, I
everything.
can't
There's always good
Giveaways.
stuff.
They
at
have
that stuff.
socks, always socks.
Yeah.
I
Like
want
the-
some QuickBooks socks.
Like the knee-high socks, the good ones.
Do they
yeah.
come in like the cashmere print?
Yeah,
Yes, I want a pair of those.
I got.
Isn't
That's
they
where I
good?
got the QuickBooks backpack that I have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There's some good stuff there all the time.
Yeah.
great swag. I mean,
We'll be excited. Now, next week, we're going to be doing a little talk about resumes, right? We're going to be
Yeah.
taking a look at resumes,
is that what it is?
Yeah, we're gonna be
Um,
do people fact check resumes?
fact checking resumes. We're going to have Brian Gorman in. Brian is a business coach and helps people find thousands of dollars in their business, guaranteed. But he also has a company that does staffing, so he's very
Love that.
very familiar with the fact checking and
The
resumes.
review.
Yeah.
Reviewing resumes
Reviewing,
is a hard
yeah.
one.
And Linda, not to ignore your question, I was just kind of using that as like a teenager as compared to somebody who had a child. But even if she didn't have a child, but she was older and had more responsibility.
Linda never had
I
a
would-
child, so
yeah.
she wondered why
So
why
I
people
think
would
she's
give
saying
more
that she's
money.
never had a resume.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
oh,
yeah, well, you've been someplace for 35 years. Resumes came out in the last 20.
Did they?
I probably they're not.
No, they didn't. No,
No.
they didn't.
Yeah, when did they start? When did they start?
Resumes?
Yeah.
Like the 70s.
No.
People were doing resumes.
Did
in the
they
70s
really
and
do that? I
80s.
mean, you used to still in the 70s be able to go to your banker and shake his hand and the deal is done.
Right, and have
you
a
never had to
cigarette
produce
in
anything.
the lobby.
Yeah.
That wasn't resume.
Are you
time.
sure, Joe?
You guys don't even know.
Well,
Look it up. Google it.
yeah.
Google it.
Well,
I'm sorry. Google it. Frugal it.
listen, tune in next week and we'll tell you the history of the resume.
History of the resume. All right, that'll be my research. That's my research.
I just looked it up. I gotta use this. The origin traces back to Leonardo da Vinci in 1482.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, no, 2000. 2000s.
Oh, well, then,
At least the 70s or 80s.
well, then, Linda,
Nope.
you should have one.
1492.
1482.
82. I don't fucking care.
Oh, I guess that's a showstopper of what did you learn today?
So we're gonna end it on I learned that resumes started in 1482.
Oh my
92.
gosh, that's
82.
it.
92.
Listen, for all of us here at 21 thank you so much for tuning in to another great episode of In the Know with Steph and Joe. Tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for the Neighborhood Pulse with Kevin Callback. And the Reject Rundown is Sunday, along with, let me tell you something, brother. Until then, be good. And hey, hoorah. Happy birthday to all of our Marines out there, to all the veterans out there. Thank you for your sacrifices to allow us to do this fun and educational and entertaining show here called In the Know with Steph and Joe.
Thank you for your service.